On a previous video, we took a look at Tommy Wonder's ambitious card routine. Daryl literally wrote the book on the ambitious card routine. Prepare yourselves for virginity, my friends. Today, we're going to go deep. If you've ever wanted to see a woman naked, this would be your opportunity to look the other way, to leave, to go to the other room, because you don't want to see this. We really lost Daryl way too soon, and I think that it's unfortunate. However, his legacy lives on with tricks like this and what we could learn from his routining of effects such as the ambitious card routine.
Whoa. Good touch. Wow. I wish I had a better act. Well, right now, I would like to explain to you how all card tricks are done. I can explain them in one word. One word is control. That's all that happens. The magician controls the cards. Allow me to demonstrate.
One thing about magicians that perform tricks like the ambitious card routine, where a card is placed in the middle and then subsequently is shown to be on top, is that they don't have a reason for its existence. So they just perform it arbitrarily. They show different ways to prove that that card's going in the middle, and then it ends up on top, and then that's it. Whereas Daryl here, at least from the very beginning, gives an introduction as to why it's going to happen, and that is card control. Now, it's very important to establish a premise from early on. And even if it's as simple as saying, we're just going to show you a demonstration of how a magician would control cards, that's all it takes. Personally, I like to implement the use of a time travel motif and say that the card is going back to the top because it's going back in time. Anything is better than just getting into it and having this thing come from the middle to the top for no reason whatsoever. So nice lesson in and of itself.
So name any card you'd like, and that's one we'll use. It's up to you.
Two of hearts.
Ah, one of my personal favorites. There's the two of hearts, and would you please, in big, bold letters, sign your name, your first name on the front side of the card. That'll be perfect. Excellent, nice and big. Now, the reason I have the card spread face upwards is so that you can see that that is the only two of hearts in the entire deck. Sometimes I demonstrate this mystery, and people say, oh, well, obviously, you have duplicate cards, but that's the only one. Even if I did have a duplicate two of hearts, of course, that's the only one with your name on the front. Okay? Now what happens is the magician says, put the card back into the deck, and that's where he cheats. I'll show you what I mean. It goes in, I'll shuffle them up. Man, you haven't blinked once. That's good. So it really is hopelessly lost. The card is not on the bottom or next to the bottom. I mean, it could have been, but it would have been just coincidence. Or the top. It's not near the top. If I want your card, I just snap the fingers, and it will rise to the top all by itself. That's the mystery. Now, in slow motion, it looks like this. The two of hearts goes into the center of the deck, about halfway down. All I have to do is snap the fingers. That's all it takes. The card will rise to the top position, and it works every single time.
Now, what's interesting is that Daryl decides to begin his ambitious card routine with an overt control, meaning that the card is going into the middle, and he's shuffling the cards. So therefore, he is the one that's putting in an active amount of effort to get that card from the middle to the top. So he's the one that's actively controlling the card. Whereas ordinarily, it becomes this weird esoteric movement where the card is put in the middle, and for no reason, it comes to the top. From the very beginning, he's establishing that he is displaying some sort of supernatural control. Now, it gets more and more esoteric as the actual routine progresses. So you notice that despite him having shuffled the cards, then it comes to the top without what appears to be visible compromise. So in this case, you see him riffle shuffling, and then he shows the cards not to be on top, not to be on bottom. An excellent way of getting into that triple without necessarily resorting to more complicated actions. You could learn complicated actions in the PigCake Magic Academy, the home of over 1,500 videos going over card stuff, coin stuff, everything you need to become the best magician you could possibly be. Offer the low price of a single White Claw a month, $5. What? Am I crazy? I might be, but you could learn some stuff there.
Now, in slow motion, it looks like this. It really goes in, but I'll put it in from the front. Now, obviously, if I do not snap my fingers, it will not rise up to the top of the deck. In fact, it won't even be next to the top. It stays in the middle until I do the secret move. The secret move is nothing more than a snap of the finger, and it's up on the top once again.
If we happen to compare this routine with Tommy Wonder's, you notice that Daryl's is an exhibit of different techniques to get that card from the middle to the top. It's how he justifies having that card being put in the middle and constantly be making its way to the top. Whereas a Tommy Wonder routine, he gives a surreal explanation of how the cards act. And in this case, he's humanizing the cards, and each individual phase is a demonstration of how the cards are behaving. Whereas here, it's a direct reflection of different techniques of card control, which he established from the very beginning.
Now, anybody can do this. In fact, would you do me a small favor? Lift off about half of the pack. Perfect. Cover it up yourself. Put all those cards on top. Take the entire deck out of my hands. Just snap your fingers. Perfect. You're a natural. Turn over the top card. If it worked, bow to your thunderous applause. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a winner.
Now, despite the attention to the premise of card control, that's not to say that he doesn't deviate. And at some point, he introduces little bits of magic to get the audience involved. In this case, this right here used to be the way I would end my ambitious card routine, which is entirely in their hands. I don't think there's any better way of getting that card from the middle to the top and making it just a moment that is on them than them having the magic taking place in their hands. However, here, it goes back to the premise of card control and demonstrating that even the participants can control the cards if they happen to carry out this magical action. Now, so far, even for the move monkey virgins that are just obsessive with collecting all these moves, you've seen a plethora of moves that get the participants' card supposedly from the middle directly to the top of the deck, or get a card from first position to second or even third without much effort. So that's really a lot of value for you people that really never want to see a woman naked.
Yeah, that's right. And she knows, because you tried, didn't you? You felt it?
I do.
You didn't? Look, I'll tell you what I'll do this time. I will push the card forward about halfway. I won't use the whole deck. I'll just cover it with a few cards. Just a few like that. I'll push it in, give a little snap. It jumps to the top. But actually, this is not the top of the deck. See, this is considered the top of the bottom half. The top of the deck would be this part over here. So watch the top of the deck, and you'll see it every single time. You really will. Oh. I have an idea.
That previous movement is one of the most impressive things you could do with the least amount of effort, because all you're doing is, again, a double lift. You're pushing that card forward, and all you're doing is taking that bottom half and placing it apart. Now that separates it, and the participants think that maybe you are doing something with this lower half of the deck. Little do they know the card's already on top of the upper half, and this in their hands is absolutely killer. So if you could do this and place that upper packet on top of their hands, I can't imagine it being any better than that, especially when they turn over that card and they realize, oh shit, it was in my hand because it's the top of the deck. Oh my God, let me blow you. Oh my God. Assuming that you're doing this on, I don't know, a Spirit Airlines flight. Now, you also notice at this point that Daryl is cleverly switching half the pack for a special pack that's going to help him out with the ending of the routine, which is the only part that I technically don't like. I've never been a fan of his ultimate ambition, but we'll get to that bridge once we cross it. But here, he's executed a deck switch, and now he's placing half the cards away after it's already been accomplished.
To make this easier to follow, I will eliminate half of the pack. I won't even use those. Just half of the deck. In fact, would you take this yourself? All I'm going to do is riffle down the corner. Anytime you'd like, just say stop. I will stop, and I'll let you put the card in yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Face down. Anytime.
Stop.
Perfect. Face down like that. Watch. No moves, no tricks, no manipulations. It is not on the bottom. It is not on the top. It stays in the middle until I snap the fingers. Then it jumps up to the top once again. I'm going to push it in with one finger because I really want you to see it. It goes in the middle. That's about halfway down. With one finger, I'll push it in. Watch. So you do a little snap. It jumps up to the top once again.
When I was younger, those last two moves fried the ever-loving fuck out of your boy Piggy. I turned into a piece of pork with those two moves because I had no idea how this Puerto Rican suave man could take a card and very cleanly put it in the middle, with the participant being the one calling stop, and it's still ending up exactly where he needs it to be. And that last part where he manages to show the card right before he shoves it in there. He was shoving it into me. So in this case, he's done a bluff pass, a wonderful execution of that. So this is a demonstration of two techniques where the participant is shown the card apparently before it goes into the middle, and it ends up being on top. This one is the one that I love because you're essentially having the card on top already and just pushing that card up and out jogging it. It allows you to get the participant to have one last glimpse before you put it in the middle when really it's already on top, baby.
Now let me do this again. It goes in the middle. I'll turn this face up. That way you can see it's not on the top yet. Not until I do the secret move. See, here's the secret move, a little tap and a snap, and it's back on top. Now when you do this, you can do it in slow motion. Just place it on the table, cover it with all of these cards, snap. It still jumps up to the top of the deck. It's always on the top. But I have an idea to make this even easier to follow. Tell you what I'm going to do. I will eliminate a few more cards. I will eliminate all of these. That's all I can do. Now that's as few as I can use and still be able to place the card into the middle of the deck. Now, it's a very thin deck, but the principle is the same. It goes in the middle. It's sandwiched in from above and below until I push it like this, snap the fingers, it jumps to the top. I'll do this again. There's the card. It goes in the middle between the other two cards until I snap the fingers, and then, of course, it jumps to the top position.
I've always found this iteration of the routine kind of interesting because it gets to the point where he's doing the ambitious card with the least amount of cards as possible, which is 3. Now, this entire premise is essentially for the reason of getting to the ultimate ambitious trick where he's managing to wrap rope around the deck and the card goes from the middle still to the top, and that is justified through removing the upper half. So first he removes the upper half, then he removes pretty much 98% of the deck and only does it with 3 cards, and then he progresses from there. Now, while I won't ever recommend anybody doing this exact routine, I think you'd be doing yourself a disservice. You could take little bits and bobs from it and incorporate it into your own routine. Again, always have the effect in mind and what the participants are actually taking away from it, but you could take little bits like this and even incorporate it, and you are going to have a very solid and strong routine.
Now, sometimes when I do this, I cheat. Once I did this, and I did cheat by accident. I didn't place it in the middle. Instead, I actually put it on the bottom of the packet. That's okay. I snapped. It still jumps up to the top. It just had to go through 2 cards. And this works in anybody's hands. In fact, would you put your hand out like this? Like a table. Watch closely. There is the card. Face down, off the top, into your hand. I will cover it with these cards. I'll even spread them out. All you have to do is snap your fingers. Perfect. That's good. Turn over the top card. Let everybody see. We have another winner. Wow. You know, there may be some suspicious folks out there. Quite honestly, there's only 2 ways that this can be done, or 2 categories of methods. One is it could be sleight of hand. Another is it could be a trick. That is to say, maybe before the show I had you sign a duplicate 2 of hearts. That's not the case. So just to make this card extra unique, perhaps you'd care to help out. Would you put your initials or your signature on the front of the card as well? What we're going to do is have several people sign the card. That way we know there's no possible chance of having a duplicate. And to make sure that I'm not using any sleight of hand, what I'm going to do is wrap the deck with rope. Please do. Watch very closely. I'm going to sleight of hand proof the pack. And the best way to do that is to wrap it up with rope. Now, there's no way to perform sleight of hand with a deck that has been wrapped with rope. I know, because I've tried. It just cannot be done. Many have tried, and several were seriously injured in the attempt. Look at that. That puppy's all tied up. Now, that's sleight of hand proofed. Is there a card out there? Oh, no, please, please. Enjoy. Relax. And just for fun, would you sign the card as well? And sign it on the back, just in case. That's good. Any kind of identifying mark will be fine. And let's have that back. Oh, look at that. There's no way I could have a duplicate of that puppy. So the deck has been sleight of hand proofed with the rope. And the card has been signed by what? 20, 30 people. And to make it even more unique, let's tear off a corner. How about like that? I think that should be pretty convincing. That is the only one. The deck has been sleight of hand proofed. The card that's been signed by 20 or 30 people goes into the center of the deck, and that really is the middle, isn't it? That really is. I haven't cheated yet, but it's coming up. Watch. I'd like to see this one myself. That is the middle of the deck. It does go in. Is that still in the middle? Still the signed card?
Yeah.
Watch. Inside. All the way. Not yet? Hasn't gone through yet. Watch. 2 of hearts. All the way in. Look. All I have to do is snap the fingers. Yes, I felt it. You'll have to take my word for it, but I did. I felt it. 1 card rises to the top. Can you take a little peek under there? That is definitely the top card. It is signed on the front. It is signed on the back. And just for those who are extra suspicious, it has the missing corner. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the mystery of the ambitious card.
Now, I don't want to say overkill, but unfortunately to me, I've always seen the ultimate ambition portion of the ambitious card as overkill, because you've already done this about 1,000,000,000 times, especially in Darrow's routine. You've placed the card from the middle, it ends up on top. You've done this and demonstrated this in every which way. Honestly, it's like having sex in about 1,400 different positions just to try to make it seem like you know what you're doing, when really you're just trying to get her contorted so she thinks, oh man, this guy really is fucking me. But no, you're just contorting her to hide the fact that you come after 7 seconds. Here, I think it's the same thing with the ultimate ambition, where you've already done this premise about 1,000,000 times. So now you're going to wrap it in rope and you're going to put it in, but it's more fair. I think for a competition, this is immaculate. This is perfect. I think for a shorter ambitious card routine with maybe a couple phases, 3 at max, and you want to do it and you want to incorporate rope into your magic because maybe you might want to use the rope later on into a trick, this is a perfect trick to do, because now you're getting everything involved and you got the rope in there. You're really proving, after not having proven it 1,400 different ways, now you're getting into it and it's an isolated thing. Yes, that's a great use for this particular ending, but I think in this context, after a 10-minute demonstration, it might be a tad bit overkill. If you agree, if you disagree, let me know. I want to know. I want to know what you have to say and what you have to think about this particular routine, because it increases engagement and it makes YouTube think that this channel is actually doing a lot better than it's actually doing. But I don't know. I've never been a fan of that portion. When I was younger, it fooled me to bits. I never could understand how he got that card from the middle to the top, considering the fact that we had that torn edge. And I thought that that was just the peak of it. But as I've grown older, I've realized that you really want to streamline things. You really want to hone in and make things as strong as possible without overstepping your boundaries. Now, this again, look at the context. It's a video production. It's a magic instructional tape. And here he's also demonstrating an act that won him a gold medal at FISM. In this case, in 1982, in Switzerland, this routine with the ambitious card routine and the ultimate ambition won him a gold medal. And it's also won him a lot of accolades for different organizations. But that is the context for this particular performance. What you should take from this is not only the establishment of a premise from the very beginning, in this case from the very start, Darrow said card control, and if you want to take little moves here and there and incorporate those into your existing routine, this is where studying Darrow's specific ambitious card routine, it's worth its weight in gold. If you haven't seen it already, I recommend watching my little take on Tommy Wonder's ambitious card routine, which I'm going to be leaving linked. I believe you could look at the little card. Look at that magic little card that appears on top. You could click on that and watch that video where I go over another magician's take on the ambitious card routine. Or you could, I don't know, go fuck yourself.
I see you again, when 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 I see you again.